Good morning and welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning, hella early at 4:45 a.m. and goes until 5 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel. Then 4:45 p.m. here on Facebook Live. No, they're on Facebook Live. Today we're talking about universal law, universal principles, and productivity. What is the connection between the the science behind the universe, right? The science behind um, the the undergirdings of universal law and how those particular scientific principles meaning they science meaning they can be replicated. They're not respective of person, gender. They just are like the periodic table of elements. um, Law, right? So how does that particular universal law impact our productivity? So we have a really interesting point to make today. We just have one main point, and we'll finish it up on part point two and three on this afternoon show at 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. So let's start. But first, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. Get all these videos for free. I did say free, one, two, three, four, free, and also or go to productivethroughjoy.com. See about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. So thanks for being here. Again, if you are new, allow me to say a few words about myself. This is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. I'm the author of the New York Times bestseller, Raising Fences, which was a Today Show book of the month. That book's film rights were optioned by the actor Will Smith, whose people called My People, and I eventually agreed to write the screenplay for that particular project. I'm also the author of the historical novel America, set 13 miles from Ferguson, where Michael Brown, of course, was murdered in the conflagration which ensued there as well. That book interrogates the intersection of race and violence in America. Really interesting novel. I am the current board president of the World Stage, a great 501c3 nonprofit here in Los Angeles. My educational background is UC Berkeley. Go Bears! As an undergraduate, my master's from UCLA, and my PhD in English literature. Uh, and I am currently a professor of English Lit at LMU here in Los Angeles. I'm an expert at being productive. I don't say that to brag or boast, but people are oftentimes surprised at my level of productivity given how crazy my own personal narrative is. I am the product of a young girl who was raped at 16 in a horrific story, gave birth to me at 17, and subsequently gave me up for adoption to an amazing single divorcee, yet at the time no biological father, no adopted father. Listen, difficult times for the young MD. Yet, as Cool Modi famously said, how you like me now? And if I can be this productive and be so through joy, so can many of us who are watching this show. Who are watching this show. And that is a beautiful thing. I'm trying to get the lighting a little bit. Yeah. Bam. Um, Brighter there. Um, and so, thanks for being here. Again, today we're talking about universal law and productivity. Again, as you go to the website, have me come out and speak to your group, school, or organization, uh, so that we may do what we do for you and for your people. All right, let's start. So, guys, there oftentimes is a distinction, and I would call it an artificial barrier, dare I say wall, between folks who are quote unquote spiritual and those who are not, those who claim to say, I believe in science. I don't believe in that spirituality or God or choose your own nomenclature. They're higher beings. I'm a straight scientist. I'm a rationalist. That's a false dichotomy. 'Cause certainly, we argue that spirituality, at least the principles underlying spirituality, that is God. That's just a name that we give for the universal creation, call it God's creation, the universal intelligence. As you know, the foundation of the scientific creation story is the Big Bang theory, where these allegedly these gases spontaneously banged, um, but there's still no, in that particular idea of creation, just as an example, where did the gas come from? And let me just clarify, when I talk about God or spirit, I'm not talking about some anthropomorphic man in the sky with a beard who looks like Charlton Heston. which is a little ridiculous, the NRA ex-leader. Um, we're talking instead about the universal presence, the energy, the thing itself. These words, of course, fall short at explaining what I just call God, what we call God here, the thing that is everywhere, all present, omnipresent, that's also inside of us, that thing that is eternal. Because our minds have a difficult time wrapping around the idea of the eternal, a thing that is always here. In some ways, we can't really understand that principle, although we know we have the ideal of, theoretically, of infinitude, of the infinite. It's hard for our minds to really conceptualize that. So we make up things called the Big Bang Theory, which is the predominant theory, which has a major hole in it, of course. The thing that made the Big Bang, the banging elements had to be here in order for the bang to happen. Come on, scientists. And so that reminds me of people who talk about folks whose minds can't wrap itself around the idea that black folk could have created the great civilizations in Africa. So there are literally people who believe that, here's now, this is a theory that is held by many people, that aliens came and built the Great Pyramids and built the great civilizations. It makes more sense to rational beings that people came from outer space, to build the Pyramid of Giza, other great structures of Egypt, as opposed to believing that the indigenous people of Africa could have had the technology. Wow. But it's that type of attitude that allows people to think that somehow science is distinct from spirituality, because they can't even imagine that a universal being could have done that. So, I'm kind of going off a little bit here. So point one, and really the only point today, is that there is a universal law, really a series of universal laws, and one of which, for example, is that when you visualize, we call it virtualize, meaning you combine emotion and deep visualization in belief, not a knowingness, a surety to an image that you hold in your mind, that thing literally will manifest. That's a law. I've done it many times my own self. So when I speak to you about it, and I'm not saying that to brag, I'm always like, wow, it happened. That's actually universal law. That is a real thing. We don't just do that to make stuff. The point is that we are a part of the primordial energy, the primordial spirit. We are the thing itself, and the implications of being the thing itself, being a part of the infinitude. Infinitude it's amazing. And so we have the power to make our own lives. And at times we call these things miracles. So today I'm thinking about miracles. Miracles are things that can be defined as things that cannot be explained by rationality, by science. So there's no scientific explanation. I am claiming and knowing that, as a believer and a knower of universal law, and as a practitioner of ancient Egyptian, we call it Kemetic principles, that I routinely co-manifest miracles, right? Sounds a little odd, I'm sure, but I'll get into the details now. But and I'm excited to see the next kind of big miracle that can emerge from these principles. Because what happens is that when it happens, when you are able to co-manifest a miracle, it helps to undergird the belief of other people around you, your children, your family, your friends, when they're like, whoa, I recall you talking about that very thing, and here it is. And some people will just explain it away as another extreme coincidence. But when it happens to you and for you, that's when you begin to gain a deeper insight. And it's a startling thing, but you ask yourself, what else can I do? Boom, goes to dynamite. Thanks for being here. We'll see you this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Go to productivethroughjoy.com. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it.